All right, we are live. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first of our education series for the Kansas City Black Business Coalition. So we're talking about becoming an entrepreneur and just how to determine your niche or your niche, however you want to say it. Uh, and so just I mean we really excited to be launching this education series, and I'm excited about the whole coalition in general. And so we got so I'm Brandon Calloway from Gift. We got Dewan Love here from Kansas City Black Business. Dan Smith from Porterhouse KC. We got Kira Cherie from Entrepreneur Business Basics, and we got Nia Richardson from KC Biz Care. And so the other members of our coalition, we got Black Excellence, Heartland Black Chamber, and Black Privilege. And so if you don't know about the Kansas City Black Business Coalition, we a group of Black led organizations focused on Black business, trying to do whatever we can to work together however we can uh, to just uplift Black businesses in Kansas City and do what we can to make sure everybody succeeds. And so uh, the first part of that today is this, and we just really talking about how to become an entrepreneur and how to determine your niche. And so we got a few different topics to cover. Everybody's gonna cover something a little bit different. Um, and then we'll in between each segment we'll have a little bit of Q&A, and so we will just go ahead and get it started and kick it off with the wonderful and amazing Kira Cherie. She's gonna talk to y'all a little bit about just how to really carve out determine your niche. So Kira, uh, go ahead and take it away.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, everybody. Let me just say before we even get started, shout out to Brandon Calloway and his team over at Gift. And what an honor it is to be on this morning. I will tell you that the formation of anything Black, anything powerful, anything coming together is needed in our community. And so, Brandon, I want to tell you to keep doing what you're doing. It's working. Black businesses in Kansas City will be better for the collaboration. And so hats off to Gift and everything that's happening because of your leadership. And I am on an amazing panel this morning, and I just can't tell you how super dope it is to be around my colleagues who are brighter than me, who are smarter than me, who've been in the game longer than me. Just to be in space with people who think higher than me, I think it's always great if you can have that mindset that you can learn in any environment. So today, I am going to kick us off, and I want to talk to everybody that's logging on today. If you're watching now, if you're going to watch it later on, get some paper, like get cozy for a minute. Pay attention to the information that you're going to receive today, because the people that are sitting in front of you, myself included, this is something that we don't do to get rich. We do this because this is who we are. Like, this is our passion. Making Black business owners thrive and getting them in a position where they can not only compete, but they can survive things like a pandemic. That's what we do it for. We don't do it for the recognition. We don't do it because this is an empire that we're trying to build. We're doing it because each of us, all of the people that you're going to hear from today, like, we have true love for our community. And we also understand that there is so much freedom in entrepreneurship. And before we get started, I'll just give you guys a really quick brief, and then I want you to get your pencils, your pads, your paper, whatever you're going to get for the next hour or so, and soak up this knowledge, because we're here for you guys. It's so interesting that Nia, the beautiful Nia Richardson, her name means purpose. Her father was one of our speakers at our EBB graduation. And he said that back in the day, there were only a few ways for slaves to become free. And one was mutiny. One was, you sell yourself out. Another one was, you kill yourself. And now we have an opportunity to be business owners. And when I think about entrepreneurship, that is true freedom to me, because not only do I get to express who I am, I also get to make my gifts make money for me. And I get to build an empire for my family. And so if you're watching this today and you know that entrepreneurship is something that you've always wanted to do, I want you to first write down this word. And it's a simple word, but it's a powerful word. And the word is why. Like, why? Why entrepreneurship? Why do you want to get into entrepreneurship? Because the thing that we found, and there's so many studies that are out there about Black business owners, is we're the fastest people to enter into business, right? Our race, our population, our culture, we will go into business the fastest, the quickest, but we are the smallest revenue generator. Meaning, if we look at our statistics at the end of the day, what profits did we really make? We are making less than all of our other counterparts, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people, every other gender, race that you can think of. We are the lowest generating revenue earner, but we're the fastest to the gate. And so what that tells me is two things. I believe that I can make some money off of my gift and off my talent, but there's something missing, that I don't have what it takes to make as much money off my talent. So my first question to you is why? So while you're writing down why, and if you're watching and you're putting it in the comments, I want somebody to type out what your why is. Tell us what your why is. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to go into business? So my name is Kira. That was my little introduction. My name is Kira Cherie. Kira means shining light, and Cherie means beloved. And in 2014, I founded my second business, which is EBB, Entrepreneur Business Basics. And it's very, very simple what we do. We train and equip Black business owners. That's all we do. We focus on our niche, which is today's word, N-I-C-H-E, niche. And our niche is people who are just starting to think about being a business owner, and then we help them to get to launch. And the wonderful thing about the Black Business Coalition and what Brandon has done is he has inadvertently allowed us to uncover in Kansas City our Black entrepreneur ecosystem. We do have a system in place. And so while we may have one step to go here, one step to go there, everything you need is inside of your village. Everything you need is inside of your community. And so I'm glad that while people come to EBB because they're just thinking about business, what we do is we give them the actual basics. So if you think elementary school, how do I know about business? What do I need to start my business? What are some ideas that I need to start thinking through? That's what EBB does. And we do that in two ways. One way we do that is we have cohorts. So we have a spring cohort and we have a fall cohort, and we take businesses for 12 weeks and we teach them the basics. So everything from ideating your business, remember your assignment is to write down the word why and to tune in today, because the information that you're going to get is going to help to clear up some of these next steps that you need to make if you're going to be serious about becoming an entrepreneur. So inside of EBB, we take you from that mindset of what do I really want to do? And then we begin to teach you all of the steps that you need just to get started. And then we move you on to what's next in our ecosystem. Places like Porterhouse that have an appetite to help you pass launch, right? They have not only an appetite, but they actually have a vehicle. They have a way for you to showcase your business and to do that in a very tangible way. You know, a lot of times we launch a business, but then we don't have space. That's why we got Porterhouse. We have Nia, who is here to talk to us about what it takes from a city perspective. What does the government want to make sure that you're legit about, right? Because it's one thing for us to think about an idea, and it's another thing for us to be serious about it. And then we have Dwayne, who came into the city many years ago, and he was like, there's some stuff here and we need to come together and people need to know what we're doing as Black business owners. And he was one of the very first people to actually bring Black businesses together in a digital platform and say, if you want to find out who's doing this, do that. And so you're talking to people who are really rooted in the community, and we're here for you. So if you got your why, you got the word why written down. Here's the first thing, and I'm going to break up that word why. The first word is what. So whoever's behind the screens in the studio, can you put my W up? Thank you so much. The first word is W. The first letter is W, and the first word is what. And here's what I want you to ask yourself. What is it that you're actually trying to accomplish? as an entrepreneur. We're talking about getting started in business, finding your niche. What you're trying to accomplish. Are you actually going into business because you want to supplement your income? So you know you're going to keep your full-time job and you just know that you have a gift, but you don't want to go full out in it. So is this a supplement for you? You know that you can make some extra money on the side. The second reason why I want you to identify your what is, because when you start talking about a niche, right? That's something that's different. That's something that's unique. That's something that sets you apart from your competitors. So the second question is, the first question is this a supplement? The second question is, if it's not a supplement, are you committed to being full-time with your business? And I'm anxious to hear what my colleagues have to say later on, because we're going to start talking about things like business industries. A lot of times, the what for us as African-American entrepreneurs is we start off because we can make cupcakes like nobody's business. We can fill them, we can decorate them. We got all kind of ways to dress up a cupcake. And what I found, having consulted businesses for so long, especially Black businesses, is we specialize in the business industries or business models that talk about what we put on our bodies, right, ladies? We're into paparazzi, we're into makeup, we're into hair care, or we go into business models for things that we put inside of our body, catering, food, vitamins, supplements. And my question to you, when I'm asking you, what are you trying to accomplish? I want you to be really, really clear about what kind of business you feel like you're ready to own. Because a candy business or a cupcake business, it's going to take some work for that business to be full-time for you, to replace whatever income you're going to walk away from. And I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying I want you to be really clear about what it is that you want this business to be for you. If you want it to be a supplemental income and you doing it, in between jobs, maybe you're the wife or you're the mom at home and you have a gift and you can help to supplement the income in your house. There's nothing wrong with either one. I just want you to know why, and I want you to know what. All right. So your first point on your paper should be W. What are you trying to accomplish as an entrepreneur? Secondly is our H. H is how. How are you going to be different? So let's say you decide, okay, I'm going full-fledged into the custom t-shirt business. I know Cricut and heat presses around the world have sold out during the pandemic, right? Because we have figured out we can all press something on a shirt. And I think it's beautiful. And I see people thriving in that industry. But I want to know how. I want you to be able to answer that question for yourself. How are you going to be different? And that is the meat and the potatoes of today's lesson. I'm talking about your business being a niche. How are you going to be different? If you are doing something in the market or you're going into business and you're doing something that the market is overly saturated with, right? Right now, we're overly saturated with custom t-shirts. How are you going to be different? What's going to make your business stand out? Is it the kind of t-shirts that you print? Is it the kind of message on the t-shirt that you print? Are you going to just find one type of thing that you're going to print and stick with that? Those are questions that you need to ask yourself. If you're talking about you want to be able to start a business, how are you going to identify that? What's going to make you different? And then from there, you get to decide how you show up in the marketplace. You don't want to show up like everybody else. You want to make sure that whenever you do launch a business and whenever you do get to what's next for you, that you are very, very clear about what area of the industry you are getting ready to be participating in. Here is a little Kira tip. One thing that I try to teach entrepreneurs to do is to think higher. So if I know that I am going to actually own a t-shirt business, and I know this is what I want to do, and it could be anything. It could be anything that's overly saturated right now. It could be paparazzi. I see a lot of women doing that. It could be anything. Try to fish in small ponds, right? So if you know this is something that you're doing, you know that you want to take this idea that you're better than anybody else, better than anybody else with it. Don't put yourself talking about a niche, talking about being competitive, talking about your business idea standing out from everyone else, right? You have to be able to say to yourself, where is the community that's not getting this product? And how do I make my business relevant to them? See, it's not enough for me to be out at all the vendor shows and I go from booths 1 to 25 and we are all selling the same thing. So maybe you don't need to go to a vendor show. Maybe you need to identify a community of people who you know would want your product, but they're not exposed to your product. So my little tip for you today on your H is, how are you different? Fish in small ponds. Don't be afraid to get out and be in places where people aren't. There's so much opportunity. Our world is so big. You don't have to keep your business in one space, especially with the internet, right? And then my last point is why. The why. The why. And the why is you. I want you to identify, you should have written on your first point the what. What are you trying to accomplish? Is this supplemental for you? Is this full time for you? Your number 2 should have been how. How are you going to be different, right? Don't be afraid to fish in small ponds. And then the last letter is why, and that's you. And what I want you to be able to write down or identify is, what is your passion? What are you passionate about? What is the thing that makes you stay up at night? What is the thing that's a burden for you when you see it in your community? I tell people all the time, and this isn't new information, but I believe it. If your business doesn't solve a problem, you won't be in business long. So think of yourself when you start thinking about what kind of business you want to solve. What problems do you run up against? What are you passionate about? What drives you? See, me and Nia and Dan, Dwan, all of us, Brandon, all of us, we're doing what we're passionate about. So my question to you is, what are you passionate about? Because I guarantee you this, your gift, your talent, your ability to make money is all connected to your why. It's connected to you. And your passion should automatically and organically line up with whatever it is that you're trying to go into in business. If you're solving a problem, it should be something that you're connected to. And if you choose to go into a business model that maybe you don't have a personal connection to, like let's say you just see that there's a need for technology that's missing in one particular area of our community, then your passion should be, how do I take the wealth that I've created from this one business industry and make my community better, starting with me and my family? I want you, as you continue on today and you listen to this broadcast, I want you to tap into the resources beyond today. Because a lot of times we attend things and we get real motivated, we get real inspired. I'm ready, let's do this. And then Monday comes and it's back to the grind. Tuesday comes and you done forgot all about it. So I want you to be very intentional about reaching out, about connecting with the people who are on this message today. Brandon, you need to know him. You need to know what he's doing. You need to know Dwayne, and Dwayne needs to know you. He needs to know what you're doing in the community. You need to know what's going on inside of Porterhouse. You need to go and visit the KC BizCare office and find out what they're doing down there. And anytime that you need help or you have a question about small business, you can always reach out to me. Our website is ebbkc.com. And yeah, let's get to it today. Today's about you. So I hope you've written down your why, and I hope you're ready. That's all I had. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kira. Yeah, that was great. That was I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to get up and go do some stuff. Cornell and I, honestly, we were always talking about different businesses that we can start. We are never stopping. And so yeah, you inspire me. I might start up a new business or two. Just, just off that first segment, But I did want to so if you're watching this, if you have any specific questions for Kira, go ahead and throw those questions in the comment section. Um, and we'll address some of those questions now, and then obviously at the end of this, we'll have a bigger Q&A for everybody. But if there's any questions, anybody else feeling as inspired as I am after listening to Kira, go ahead and throw those questions in the comment. Um, but if not, then we will go ahead and move on to Dan Smith. So Kira, thank you for that super inspirational segment. And so we're gonna move on with Dan Smith from Porterhouse. Uh, Dan, go ahead and take it away. I know Dan's gonna talk to us about just identifying some specific opportunities to get into some specific industry. So Dan, go ahead.
Absolutely. So, first of all, Akira, like following Kira is a bad idea. It's always a bad idea to follow Kira. I'm just saying, but she is. It actually is a bad angle, right? It's so inspirational. It's so dope. It just gets you excited and gets you kind of pumped up about what it is that we're trying to accomplish. I do want to shout out. I know Kira did this too, but I want to shout out Brandon, the G.I.F.T team, the squad, and what you guys are doing. This is phenomenal. Kira, Nia, Dewan, Brandon, and Nell is actually manning the stage in the background. This is phenomenal, man. So I just wanted to give shout outs, man. This is dope. Dan Smith, Porterhouse KC, we're an organization created to help support entrepreneurs in the urban community in various ways. I'm not here to talk about our programming specifics, so I just want to kind of dive right into. So I like call and response like type deals, right? So I don't know if you can comment in the comment section, but even if you have the question, something that Kira said that resonated with you or something like that, pop it in the comments. If you have something that resonates with you that I say or that anybody says going forward, make sure that you comment. Even if it's not a fully thought out question, but you just got a comment or something that you want to say, pop that into the comment section because we like that call and response type deal. Anyway, my goal for today's session, and there's going to be many more of these sessions. So this is just the first one. So we're really excited about this whole series, right? My first piece is kind of what to do. Like there's some folks that have really great talents, some things that folks that are really, passionate about, but there's some folks that don't have that. Like, what do you do if you really just don't know what it is you do? You have some things that you like to do, but you're not sure how to turn that into a actual business, right? And so first, before we dive into that, and I'm just going to give some high level things. And if you got some questions or something, some of these things that I touch on, definitely post those into the chat. So first, the dictionary defines entrepreneurship as activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on financial risk in the hope of profit. In the hope of profit, not the guarantee of profit, the hope of profit, right? That's what entrepreneurship is, okay? It is a risk. So how do you figure out what to do while minimizing the risk? Risk meaning you spend $100 on a particular, and I'm just being, just giving an example, but you spend $100 on that t-shirt press machine that Kira said, right? And you don't really know how to create a brand, right? And so we try and we try and we try and it just doesn't work. So that's risk, right? So you just spent $100 that is now gone because we haven't done the research, we haven't built the following, we haven't created great quality designs. The t-shirt quality might not be great. whatever the case may be, it's risk. But there are ways to kind of mitigate that risk or not take on as much risk, right? You might be $20 in because there's a different way. Instead of purchasing that machine yourself, you could do something else. So I'm gonna go through a list of things that you could do that is not necessarily high risk, but will take time and will take some research and will take some effort on your part to be successful. So one thing, if you are interested, Kira kind of touched on this in her talk. If you want to be a brand creator, right, and you don't necessarily have the money to buy a press machine, you don't have the money to stack inventory, to buy T-shirts to actually press on, or the printer to print out the iron on, or whatever the case may be, to actually put on, or God forbid, yeah, I'm having the money to put to get the ink and do an actual transfer from an ink tray to spread onto your thing. Just so there's so many little pieces about creating a T-shirt or a brand that maybe you don't have that. Well, there's other resources and other ways for you to do that. So there's a website called Printful.com. So I'm not endorsing Printful.com. I've used them in the past for some of our things, but Printful is a dropship company, right? And what is a dropship company? A dropship company is a company that actually does. So say you have a great design in your computer and you want to put it on a shirt. You can go to Printful.com, create your account. It's free. It's a free account. And you go in and you actually put your print from your computer, your digital copy, on a T-shirt or on some socks or on a mug or on a hat or whatever the case may be. If it looks good, you can actually create your own website, or you could just do pre-sales through Facebook, right? So you're not spending any money in this instance, but you are creating an opportunity to sell a particular product to someone else, right? So that's a way to not have to purchase all the equipment that's necessary to actually start creating a brand. But before you even get to that point, it's important that you start creating the movements, right? People need to know who you are, what you are about, because they follow you. They don't follow the brand. They want you, right? You are the brand, okay? So if you're nervous about that, if people follow you, but you got, your nerves are like pretty high, you don't like to put yourself out there, you don't like to talk on camera, all these other things that go on in the nervous system, shake it, right? Will Smith said a while ago, and this is something I always use, but Will Smith said, the most beautiful things on earth on the other side of fear, right? So if you let that fear debilitate you from doing this next thing or making that jump, you're going to stand still. You're going to be in the same place that you are this year, the next year, and the year after, right? But once we decide to not be debilitated by fear, but live through it, right, to get to the other side, to the beautiful things, that's where the fruit is, right? That's where the sweet spot is, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're working towards creating your business. But brand creation, so Printful.com, there's a drop shipper. Write that down. Kira already told you to put, you should have your pencil and paper out already anyway. So Printful.com is something that is a resource for you if you're interested, even if you're not a brand, like if you do cupcakes, if you do whatever else, and you want to create another piece, another income stream through that business, this is a way to do that, okay, using Printful.com. There's online stores. You could do Shopify. You could do Amazon. If you like fixing things, become a handyman. You could do handyman stuff, right? There's no particular certifications. You start with the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit is family and friends, right? If it's something that you're interested in doing, if you're wanting to be a handyman, start letting your family and friends know, hey, this is something that I want to do. Would you mind if you have some issues or troubles with the house or whatever the case may be? Give me a call. Let me come over and do it for you, and charge them a cheap fee, right? $15, $20, something less. And then you start building, and that's how you build. But then you build a resume. That's how you build a resume, right? You start with the low-hanging fruit. You do landscaping. If you got a lawnmower, you got the equipment you need to start a lawn company, right? And then you build. And again, start with the low-hanging fruit, friends and family. When you talk investors, when you start a business and you're trying to create an investable business, they always tell you to start with the low-hanging fruit. Friends and family are the low-hanging fruit. So if your friends and your family are willing to invest with you and you can really pitch to them, you know, that's how you grow. You grow from there. All right. Some other trades to think about that not necessarily so electricians. You might be an electrician and you work for another company, or you're in a union or something like that. Guess what? You could actually turn that into your own business, right? Being a plumber. And I know Nia is going to come on here later, and she's going to let you know you don't have to be an expert in being an entrepreneur, right? So you don't have to know all the ins and outs specifically about accounting and law and things like that. That's why these other resources are out there, right? And that's what Nia is building with the city. And I'm not going to take anything from what Nia is going to talk about, but that's why the resources are there. You just have to be open to those resources, right? You signing up and you watching this is a key, is an indicator that you are open to that. So be open and continue to do your research, right? Look up the city of Kansas City. The state has resources. EBB is a resource. Porterhouse KC is a resource. G.I.F.T is a resource. There's a ton of other resources out there too. So don't feel like you have to know all those other things. It's good to be aware, right? But you're working with people that went to school that got 4, 5, 6 year degrees for what they do, and so for you to expect to be an expert in all these other pieces, don't even think about it that way, right? Think about it as, how do I source this out, and how do I piece my team together to be able to put together what we're trying to accomplish. If you like events, throwing parties, going to parties, if you're really into that type of stuff, event planning, that's a thing. People make money off of it. I know COVID is going on right now, but there's a lot of creative ways that event planners are actually still making money. So look into that. Becoming a personal assistant. And I'm telling you, I know for sure that Kira, Brandon, Nia, Dewan, and myself, we all need a personal assistant. Now, do we have the money to pay for a personal assistant? Probably not at this point. But do we need one? Absolutely. There's people that do have some extra dollars to pay for a personal assistant, somebody to help them through like emails and scheduling and things like that, fielding calls and whatnot, or updating websites, stuff like that. There's dollars out there for stuff like that, you know, becoming a personal assistant. Social media is like everybody's the ultimate consummate professional on social media, right? Everybody knows how to get on the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all the other Twitter and everything else. Become proficient in it, right? Learn the back end of those things. Create yourself business accounts are free. Create yourself a social media business account so you can learn the inner workings of social media, because when you have a business account, it shows you your impressions and the likes and all these other things that matter when it comes to social media management, right? So learn that stuff, right? If you like social media, you like being on there anyway, and you're always constantly posting, constantly doing something on social media, try to figure out a way. How do we monetize this, right? How do we figure that out? Side hustles can become main hustles. None of these things have to be full time. Don't feel like you're pressured. And my camera keeps flickering, but don't feel like you're pressured into, if you can't do this full time, that means you're not an entrepreneur. I don't believe that. I'm just letting you know, I don't believe that. So those are some things that I wanted to touch upon. Also, my closing little statement is: push for what you believe, dream as much and as often as you please. If you feel like an imposter, that you don't belong, just work. Let the proof be in your work. Study, imagine, and grow. Have the dream of being a full-time entrepreneur. If that's in your dream, then work towards it. Dream about it, plan, and then execute. Don't worry about the others' impressions of you. The work speaks for itself. Sorry, I know my camera is flickering or whatever, but that's all I got, man. I just wanted to kind of throw some things out there that are obtainable, the low-hanging fruit, and yeah. So I don't see any questions that popped in the chat, but if you're rewatching this, reach out. It's Dan Smith. on Facebook, the Porterhouse KC on Facebook. Just look us up, check us out. Gift, EBB, the city, all of us. We're all a resource. So cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Dan, man, dropping some real knowledge. Uh, I kind of, I mean, I know we gonna get some more stuff later, but I feel like with just these first two segments, like y'all, you and Kira have uh like gave some pearls of wisdom that took me a few years to realize and really know. Like the thing about taking a risk, like it is literally a risk. Like you first thing you got to do is just become comfortable with the fact that you are taking a real risk. And then
100%.
the building the following, man. You always hear the if you build it, they will come. Nah, man, you got to go get them. Like you got to go get them and
Swear.
bring them in there and putting yourself out there too. I'm super introverted, right? Like I am an extreme introvert. But
B, you
uh,
wouldn't believe this, but I'm gonna tell you, I am too.
yeah,
You probably wouldn't believe it because I just try to. But after I do things like this, and Kira, we've had this conversation too. But after we do these and we, really kind of ramp ourselves up, we crash
yeah,
because it takes a lot, right? But it's the end goal and the vision is more important than being comfortable, right? So
exactly.
we have to
Going
get
back.
uncomfortable.
Yep, going exactly back to what Kira was talking about, connecting it
Yep,
to what your why and why you're doing it. Like being
100%.
passionate about it helps you get past that. Being nervous to put yourself out there. So like I
Yeah,
said, man, y'all two already dropping huge pearls that to I know for I can't speak for other people how long it took them to learn that, but it took me a while to learn. So yeah, very very
awesome,
valuable. So we
awesome.
appreciate that, Dan. Next up, we got Dwan Love from Kansas City Black Business. He's also part of Gifts board, and so we are very happy and lucky to have Dwan with us. And Dwan is just going to be talking about identifying some entrepreneur opportunities in some untapped markets. So yeah, Dwan, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate the introduction. First of all, I want to take my hats off to the speakers today. Dan said, "How can you follow up?" After Kira, and I'm kind of thinking, I got Kira and Dan, two of the best of the business in Kansas City, and it's like, man, how do I follow up with that? So they both provided great information. They're both great resources in Kansas City. Brendan, thank you for putting this on with Gift. Please make sure that you're spreading the word about Gift. Gift is an incredible resource in the community as far as getting Black businesses funded. That's something that not very many people are doing. Organizations are doing here in Kansas City is really giving Black businesses a shot. So my hat goes off to Gift. They started the Kansas City Black Business Coalition, where we'll do these educational series and provide information and just be a resource to those Black business owners or potential entrepreneurs. So it's really, really great to have Gift in Kansas City. Definitely appreciate it and thankful to be a part of it. So what we'll kind of be talking about is, the really, this kind of conversation will kind of be for those people who really don't know what they want to do, don't know how to get started, things like that. And we'll also talk about a few of the industries that you don't really hear a lot about. And with you not hearing those industries, being talked about as much, you may not consider those. So some of this stuff you heard from Dan and Kira. So if there's anything that I'm repeating, please, again, take notes. Make sure if you didn't get it the first two times, you get it this time. So this is a lot of information, a lot of great information. So I'll go ahead and dive in. My name is Dwan Love. I'm the founder of Kansas City Black Business. So I've been in the entrepreneurship space probably about 6 or 7 years here in Kansas City. And kind of what I think Kira talked about earlier is, we do create all these businesses, but not a lot of money is made from entrepreneurs in Kansas City. So we want to get that turned around, create more entrepreneurs. All right. So the first question I want to pose is, do you really want to be an entrepreneur? Since you're on this call, you took the time out to join us today. I'm going to assume that that's something that you're interested in, something, you know, that you're considering. So I want to ask another question. Are you interested or are you committed? So that's a question my friend Dale Gines posed in a workshop a couple of years ago, and it's always stuck to me. So anytime I try to take on something new, I ask myself, am I interested in this or am I really committed? And I'll tell you, and the other two speakers can attest to this, if it's something that you are passionate about and want to fulfill, you're going to have to be committed. There are going to be a lot of days when you feel like quitting and giving up, but you're going to have to make sure you stay committed and you have people around you who can keep you grounded and on track for what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to kind of work backwards. I know we're talking about entrepreneurship and how to become an entrepreneur, but I want to kind of work backwards a little bit here and talk about why people don't become entrepreneurs. So one reason people don't become entrepreneurs is because they think it's too expensive. Depending on the industry, it can be, but I guarantee you, if you ask any business owner today, if they started with the level of where they are today, they're going to say no. Everyone has to grow to, continuously grow to the point where they want to be. Most people start from the ground floor and work their way up. So if you are interested in being an entrepreneur, don't think that you have to have all the money in the world to get started. There are loans that can be had. There are grants like Kansas City G.I.F.T. They give out loans. So there are programs out there that you can utilize for funding. And again, not every entity requires a lot of startup capital. So keep that in mind. Another reason why people don't become entrepreneurs is they have an idea of what they want to do, but they feel like they're not ready or they don't have the tools to get started. And I'll be the first one to tell you, if you feel like you can't get started until you have everything you need, you're never going to get started. You're never going to get started if you keep, putting these barriers in front of yourself saying, I can't get started until I do this. So I will tell you, start where you are. If you're interested in being an entrepreneur, you have an idea, I want you to start where you are. If you want to be, if you want to do anything, if you want to be a chef, start making meals at home, cook for friends and family. So just start somewhere. And from there, you'll be amazed at how much you grow, how much you learn, and how much of your experience, builds your business. Another thing as well is that people don't know what they want to do. And that's kind of where I want to dive into. So you have people who have a 9-to-5, and nothing wrong with that. It's completely fine. But they either want additional income, and as Dan said, if you're using the business for supplemental income, you're still an entrepreneur in my book. So some people just want to have extra money. So they want to start a business for that. Or they just hate their job. They hate working for someone else. I've met those people too. Hate their job, hate working for someone else, and they just want to do something and work for themselves. They want to leave a legacy for their children, some type of business that their children can take over, once they're done. So if you're one of those people who want to start a business but have no idea where to start, we're going to kind of go over a few points and a few things that you can do to maybe kind of help move you towards that direction. All right. So first thing, I would say identify a problem. So most of the successful businesses, they've become successful because they've solved an issue that someone has had. And I think they both, the two previous speakers, Dan and Kira, both kind of touched on this, is if you're not solving a problem, you're probably not going to be around for a long time. If you are, you probably won't grow to the biggest potential that you think you could. Solving a problem is how business works. They're perfect example, a lot of car accidents happen in a particular place. That's an issue. What's the resolution? Put a stop sign there. Bam. So use that same situation in business. Find a problem, and this can be, something simple. So you can start at home. What are some of the things in your home or on your drive to work, or what are some of the things in your daily life that you see all the time that you say, man, I wish this was different, or I wish they would fix that. Or even with your phone, man, I wish there was a way that I could do this. So start with yourself, identify problems in your life that need to be resolved. And again, this can be, in the form of something physical, anything. It could be, maybe you're having mental health issues and you don't have an advocate for you that you can speak to and things like that. And you say, man, I wish there was somewhere I could go. Maybe that's your calling. Also, you can reach out to friends and family members and, kind of figure out what kind of problems they're having. And just being aware, watching the news, things around you, finding a problem and solving that issue. That's one of the first ways you can kind of start to think about, what do I want to do as far as an entrepreneur? All right. One of the other things you could do is have a think tank. So, you and 3 or 4 of your friends, maybe coworkers, you all work for the same company. You say, look, man, I'm tired of working here. We've got to do something. We got to figure this out. Start having those brainstorming sessions and figure out, what skills each person possesses, what passions you have. And also kind of going back to the previous point, identify problems. But it may be better to have those conversations in a close-knit group with a think tank and, just kind of sit down and brainstorm ideas. This would be something that, you all meet up weekly and discuss. And also reaching out to friends and family, even just last weekend, took a little road trip with my family and we were sitting in the car saying, we should start a family business. What should we do? And, my mom was in the back seat taking down notes and we were just kind of listing things off. And, we had a couple ideas and some of them, were kind of hits. And from there, we said, well, we're going to research and, see what particular issues are in these communities that our problem could resolve, our business could solve. So we actually came up with a couple of things and, just like that, an idea could be birthed and it could turn into something huge. So again, think tanks, talking to like-minded people and just coming together and bring those ideas together. Another thing you can do, again, if you have no idea where to start, think about those things that you're passionate in, that aren't really business related. So, if you like books, maybe you can consider a bookstore. Dan used an example that I was actually going to use as well. If you like, putting together your family gatherings, if you're the person that puts together, the Thanksgiving gatherings and the family reunions, maybe you want to consider being an event planner. So just think about things that you love to do, that comes natural to you and you're willing to do it with no pay just because you love doing it. And then find a way to monetize that. So again, we have a lot of resources here. Nia can definitely help you out when it comes to, you found out what you want to do. Now, how do I implement that? Nia will be a great resource for that. And in thinking about those different businesses or those different, entrepreneurship ideas, ask yourself how much time you want to invest, how much money you want to invest. And again, that kind of goes to that, are you interested or are you committed? The last tip that I want to give is business guides. So there are a lot of vloggers out there, a lot of bloggers out there, podcasts, and they provide information and, business tips. So there are guides that people put together and they send out, just kind of talking about different markets to tap into, how to get started in entrepreneurship. So I guess in a nutshell, just reading different things can kind of help influence you and kind of help you kind of figure out where you want to go with that. There's a book called Strength Finders 2.0. And I recommend buying this book new, not used, because there's a quiz inside. But Strength Finders 2.0 really kind of drills down what your strengths are and what type of industries you'd be good at. I think it's mostly geared toward employment. So, if you'd like to be a teacher or if you like to be an engineer, things like that. But you can apply it to an entrepreneur field as well. So again, that book is Strength Finders 2.0. It's a really quick read. But I do recommend that for anyone who doesn't really know what they're passionate about or doesn't really know what they'd like to do, but want to find out. Strength Finders 2.0. That's definitely been a help for me, and I think it will be a help for you all as well. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. So we've kind of been talking about, how can you find out what it is that you want to do? But there are some industries out there that a lot of people don't think about. So I want to kind of at least get your mind thinking of, these are out here and these, can be done by me. I can be an entrepreneur and I can start doing this and make money with it. So just going to give a few things, a few industries that I've kind of come across here lately. One of those will be vending. So growing up, I didn't know any people who looked like me that owned any type of vending machines or anything like that. But that's something that you can tap into that's going to provide you with passive income, which means you can make money, while you're not actually working. And I think for entrepreneurship, that's kind of the end goal, right? Not have to work for someone else, not have to trade your time for money. So vending can consist of, some type of concessions. It could consist of having actual vending machines. There are places that are open, those essential businesses like hospitals and things like that. And even ATMs. So ATM is a type of vending. Again, growing up, I always assumed, banks own the ATMs and things like that. But it's actually possible for an individual just like me and you to own a vending machine or own an ATM. So if that's something that you're interested in or you may be interested in, that's kind of a path that you may want to take. Not a ton of risk when it comes to vending. So again, and you can, scale it as much as you can. Another thing that I ran into, so for my daughter was, we were pregnant with my daughter and we were having a baby shower. So I think we went to Etsy or something like that. And there was a baby shower invitation, just a generic baby shower invitation. And you have to reach out to the owner and they will provide your specific details on the baby shower invitation. So, where, when, time, all that good stuff. But the thing she does is she has the invitation online. You can purchase the invitation. She'll edit it for you. And then you print it yourself. So she made that flyer one time. She makes small edits to it, but it's continuing to bring her money. So again, that could be something that, you can get into. You can learn graphic design. Photoshop is a program. It's pretty expensive, but you can actually pay, a monthly access, $20 a month. So you can go to YouTube, learn how to use Photoshop, pay $20 a month and start your business. So ton of ideas there. Again, when it comes to digital flyers, digital marketing, things like that. Another industry is kind of hands-on is the tow truck industry. In Kansas City, I know of 2 Black-owned tow truck companies that have been around for 20 plus years. I only know of 2 in the whole city that have been around for that long. So again, something to consider. That's and I brought that one up because that's kind of one of those recession-proof, COVID-19 proof ideas, because people are still driving, people are still getting into wrecks. No matter what kind of lockdown we have, anything like that, we're still going to have bad weather at some point. It's still going to rain. It's still going to snow. So most likely there's probably still going to be some work. And then another idea, and we're going to wrap it up here soon, I promise. But another idea is a professional YouTuber. So this kind of goes back to my point of just getting started, start where you at. Some people don't want to do YouTube because they say, well, I don't have a good camera. I don't have a good microphone. If all you have is a cell phone, start with your cell phone. Just get started doing something. And if you want to become a YouTuber, find something that's not really that doesn't have a lot of videos available. So maybe some widely that's not a word. So some of those areas that I guess are you don't have a lot of videos in, you may want to see if you can tap into that. And last but not least, education. So one of those things that you could do is, learn the industry, learn fronts and backs, and you may have an industry that you already know about. So maybe you're 9 to 5, you work in a particular industry where you know everything about it. You're the expert. you could create an online class and make a video one time, during training, and then sell that, multiple times and do it over and over. So just some ideas to kind of get you thinking about, some of those non-traditional entrepreneurship alleys, as well as, getting your brain, moving and starting to think about some of those things that, how to get started when you don't really have an idea of what you want to do. So again, thanks everybody for joining. Please spread the word about G.I.F.T. And Brandon, I'll hand it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Dwan, man. Really, really appreciate that. Coming with some really creative ideas and some creative industries that a lot of people probably haven't thought about, and encouraging people to think outside the box. And it's that that one of those common themes that keeps coming up between all of you and Dan and Kira, and it's just the believing in yourself and kind of jumping in and taking that risk, and just diving in and trying to get it done. So
yeah,
Dwan, appreciate that. Appreciate the knowledge, the tips, and all that, and just even above that, I appreciate the work that you do for G.I.F.T. So yeah, shout out to you.
Thanks.
All right, and so last, definitely not least, we have Nia Richardson from KC Biz Care. Hey Nia, how's it going?
Hey, good morning or good afternoon.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. But yeah, so Nia is just gonna, like I said, Nia from KC Biz Care, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about what they do, the services they provide, and just kind of how to take those first action steps. And so Nia, I will go ahead and throw it over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nia Richardson. I work with the City of Kansas City, and I run what's called our KC Biz Care office. If you are not familiar with KC Biz Care, we provide support or technical assistance for new and existing businesses, but mostly folks who are just starting their business and need help with that registration, permitting, and licensing process. A lot of what you have to do to get your business set up and registered so you can legally operate is done with the city, the state, or the federal agency. And so what we do is help you navigate through that process all the way up to getting a business license. Most people think that the first thing I have to do is get a business license. Well, yes, but there are a lot of things that you have to do or other steps that you have to take before you even get to that point of getting a business license. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, give you some tips and website that you can go to. We have a new virtual one-stop shop, which allows my office or my staff to assist you more virtually. Right now, our office is closed where KC BizCare side is. My office shares space with Business License. Their side is open, and they're assisting with new businesses and renewals for your business license and any taxes that you have for your business. So they're limited to 3 people in the lobby with capacity. We've had to pivot and do a lot of things virtually, and I'm going to show you a little bit of how we are assisting our businesses virtually. But the first thing I want you to do, and I'm going to put it in the comments that, well, I'll try to make sure that that's shared, is you need to go to bizcare, bizcare.kcmo.gov. And once you get to that site, you're going to see something like this. This is our new virtual one-stop shop for KC BizCare. Here you will find a plethora of resources for your business. We will be curating this site over the next year with all different types of virtual tools and resources that will help you better communicate with my office and get the assistance that you need, but also tools and things that you will need for your business. And I'm going to walk you to a couple of those things as well. So let's start with the first thing that people call me for most of all. I'm trying to start my business. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I need you to be able to answer because it's very important for you to understand what you do. If you can't tell me in one quick sentence what you do or just a few words, it's going to be really hard for me to assist you to say, here's the proper steps that you need to take to get your business set up and registered. So the first place I'll take people is to our business registration overview. What we've done is taken this tool that we would normally pass a lot of papers out to people inside our office, and we moved it online for you. course, there's our disclaimer. I don't legally advise you on anything. You will definitely need to consult an attorney and or accountant, and I would recommend that for everyone. But this is a tool that helps me walk you through the steps of what you need to do. So the first thing, whether you're just providing a professional service or you're selling things, is going to take you in two different directions. And when I say selling things like food, clothes, lashes, whatever it is that you sell that you make a profit, there's a couple of steps or one or two that you have to make or take for you to get all the documentations you need to get your business license. So think about me as the person that helps you with all the prerequisites that you would have to in order to obtain a business license with the city of Kansas City. And the only time you need a business license with the city of Kansas City is if your business is physically located in Kansas City, Missouri, or if you are doing business in Kansas City, Missouri. That is the only time you really need one. Otherwise, if you're in Raytown, Grandview, Independence, and your business is a storefront and you're not really doing business, you're not coming over into our area to do business, you probably want to check with that local jurisdiction to see what business licenses or requirements that they have. I don't control or see that, nor do I follow up on it. I'm more worried about what you do in KCMO. So the first thing you need to do, and I try to explain this to people very simply, starting a business is like having a kid. If you do not nurture and bring up that child right, do not expect that child or this business to be successful. So the simplest way I try to talk to people about what the steps to take, what steps there are to take to doing your business registration is pretty much equating it to having kids. I got 3, so I know this very well. So the first thing you have to do is register your business with the state of Missouri. Think of it like this is where you go to the hospital and have the kid. Most people that we see are going to incorporate their business. And so when people say, well, what's the best way for me to incorporate? I'm gonna ask you one simple question. If you want to incorporate or not. If something goes wrong, do you want me to sue you or do you want me to sue your business? And if you say, I would prefer you to sue my business and not have any parts in my personal assets, then you want to incorporate. Typically, folks move to the first step of an LLC. And so I'm going to talk you through the process as if you're doing an LLC. If you want to be a sole proprietor, a lot of these steps are not necessary. It just really depends on how you want to go about it. And I could definitely walk you through that as well. But for the purpose of our time here, let's just assume you're going to start an LLC. So the first thing you need to do is go to the Secretary of State site. That's here. This link will take you directly to the page. Each of these will. To the page and to the application, so you do not have to navigate the site to figure out where these things are. We've made that very, very simple for you. So let's back up again. First thing we're going to do, register your business with the state of Missouri. You do not exist until you register your business with the state of Missouri. And think about it, like I said, you're having a kid and you're naming the kid because you can only have one name per LLC. This is a way of like trademarking your name because the state only allows one per business. And there's other ways where you can do trademarking, but this is one step of how you can trademark your name in the state of Missouri. So you would want to go to the Secretary of State. You're going to name the kid. You're going to go through the application. And then at the end, you're going to get what's called your articles of organization. Think of it like a birth certificate. You will be asked about that document several times when you do anything with registering your business, especially when you license your business or when you open a bank account. This is a very important document to have. It's easy to actually go back and get. The Secretary of State site will require you to set up a username and password. Once you do that, you go in, you log into the system, you select an LLC domestic if you are Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri-based business. LLC domestic. LLC foreign means that I'm from another state trying to do business in Missouri because I want to do business in Kansas City. All right. To do an LLC online is $51.25. That is a one-time fee. All right. So now that you've had the kid, you've named the kid, you got the birth certificate for the kid, now you got to get a social security number for the kid. And that's your federal employer ID number, EIN number is another way, a terminology used for it. This is free. Again, this will take you directly to the application. You fill it out. There will be a document at the end. You need to save that document. I will never be able to retrieve that for you. Treat it like you would treat your social security number, your own personal one, because this is basically a social security number for your business. All right. The next step that you would have to complete is called a zoning clearance. And that's basically saying, where is the baby going to live? And so what a zoning clearance is, is basically saying that I'm going to do business here, and the building that I'm doing business in is zoned for that particular type of work. Let me give you some examples. Can you have a strip club just everywhere? Can't have a CDB store or a medical marijuana store just anywhere. It has to be so many feet between away from a school or things like that. So there are certain zonings. You can't have a tow lot at your home. So there you can definitely have a home-based business, and there are limitations to what you can do there. But majority of businesses can be home-based, except for certain ones, because basically think about it: where are you officing from? Doesn't necessarily mean where you're doing business per se. Like you may move around. I may go to people and do the service, but my office is in my home. All right. So commercial, we want to make sure that you're properly zoned. If you are thinking about leasing a space, call us first so we can look up the zoning before you sign that lease to make sure that that building is zoned to do exactly what you need to do. Barbershops, car sales, everything has its particular zoning and limits what you can do and where you can do it. All right. Zoning clearances can be done through my office. Please do not click that link. Email me. We can do it a lot faster within 24 hours. If you click that link, it takes you to plan department. It takes them 5 days, up to 5 days to complete that. So these are the steps that every business has to complete when registering. And typically, if you're doing a professional service in some way, this is typically where you stop and then you can move on to getting your business license, because that's pretty much all you need. But if you're a business and you're saying, I'm selling things, I got food or anything like that, there's a couple more steps you have to take. Zoning clearance is free, by the way. The only thing you pay for so far is that one-time fee for this Secretary of State. When you went to the hospital, you had the kid, you got the birth certificate. Now, if you're selling anything, food, clothing, whatever, if you're doing any type of retail, especially if you're reselling, and sometimes they may say you need a wholesaler's license or a reseller's license. What they're referring to is a Missouri sales tax number. This is free. This is done through the state, the Missouri Department of Revenue. I can't see this stuff. You go here, the application, fill it out. They will assign you a sales tax number, and you can look up and see what your sales tax is going to be. Please understand, and some tips that some accountants have given some of the businesses that we spoke to, make sure you set up a separate account for your taxes so that you're not spending that. And know that every time you charge tax on something, that's money that needs to be set aside. That's not a part of your revenue. And if you're selling things, your taxing is different. Sometimes you have to pay your taxes quarterly because you're paying a sales tax. So make sure you're clear when you talk to your accountant about what that schedule looks like for you when you're paying taxes. All right. We want to make sure you stay in good standing with the city and the state so you can properly conduct your business and grow your business. If you have a food related business, whether you're doing a truck, trying to sell things, you got to be careful. You can't cook out of your home. I think there are some rules that we're trying to research and find out about a Cottage Act, because I believe there's some things you can do out of your home, but the majority of things that you're doing, especially if you're catering and things that you have a food truck, you cannot do that out of your home. You have to have a commercial kitchen. You can build a commercial kitchen in your home. That takes a lot, but you have to have a commercial kitchen. And there are some kitchens that are open to small businesses, and I think they're called commissary kitchens, that may have been approved by the city as a commercial kitchen and been inspected that you could cook out of. So make sure you look into that. But you have to go through our health department. They have food handlers permits. They have health inspections that they have to do of the locations to ensure that the food is properly being cooked or stored properly, so no one's getting sick. So it's very, very important to do that. And you have to go through the health department to get that permit. If you have a construction company, we always, I believe you have to have some type of workman's comp. So that's very, very important if you're into construction. Every other business, again, especially if you are incorporating, make sure you look up the proper insurance for your business. Usually that's done through your commercial insurance company, and look for some professional liability insurance, and or look for the type of insurance that relates to your industry. Some have very specific ones to protect you in your industry. Again, you've separated your assets. People cannot come and sue you personally. They're going to sue your business. So make sure your business is protected with the proper insurance. That's not a requirement for a business license, but we do tell people, especially if you're starting an LLC, look into the proper insurance. Make sure you set up the bank accounts, and everything I'm showing you what to do today, all the way up to your business license, is majority of what you will need, pretty much everything you need to walk into a bank and open your bank account. But the other important thing that you need to know when you have an LLC is to make sure you have an operating agreement. You can Google that, Missouri LLC operating agreement. If you're a sole member of your LLC, it's pretty much a fill in the blank. But if you are not, I would recommend you sit down with an attorney, have them draft you out an operating agreement. I believe some banks do require an operating agreement. And I think Missouri does require all LLCs to have an operating agreement. So Google that, make sure you look into it. Once you've completed all those steps and you got all those documentations, you had the kid, you dressed the kid up, you given the kid everything that they needed. Now you can go apply for a business license. You can do this online through the Quick Tax system, which takes up to 7 to 10 business days online. Or you can come into the office. We're located at 1118 Oak Street, directly across the street from City Hall. We're limited to 3 in the lobby, but it takes about 15 minutes and you can actually walk out with your business license. Please understand, if you're trying to license your business today, you will still be required to renew your business license after the beginning of the year. So after the 31st, January 1. So between January 1 and the end of February is the grace period you have to renew your business license. This is how you stay in good standing with the city. If you do not, after the end of February, starting March 1, you will start incurring fees and penalties to your account. And it's going to make it very hard, or you're going to have a lot of money to pay out in order to get your business back running and operating legally. This is very, very important because what we learned in COVID-19 is a lot of our businesses did not have the proper registration or the relationships to access the COVID relief funds that were available in Kansas City. And those who did have those relationships were 38% more likely to obtain capital. And they were actually they asked for 8 times more money than those who did not have relationships. So having your registration done and starting to build the relationships that you need for your business is going to be very, very important. So we've gone through the registration side of it. Here's some other things that you need to know for your business. If you are renting homes, if you're doing a real estate business, and you are renting homes, there is a requirement for a healthy homes inspection, and it requires an annual permit and fee. Please check this out to make sure you are in compliance. This was just enacted, I think in 2017, 2018, by the tenant group that was, pretty much fighting for tenant rights to ensure that, we don't have a lot of slumlords that are renting out homes and not keeping them up to par and keeping our homes healthy for our renters. Also, if you have a security company, you got to get a police clearance. If you sell tires, have some certain type of animal businesses, if you have cigarettes, liquor, regulated industries is who you need to check with to make sure you're in compliance with whatever they have. Again, there are permits for animal related businesses, and the city also provides a certain type of contractor licensing, especially if you're interested in doing business with the city. All right, so I went through a lot of stuff, which is basically everything we can assist you with in KC BizCare. Couple of things about the site, because I know I'm probably running out of time, is I want you to know that right now the city is conducting a small business big voice listening tour, which our office is helping to lead with in partnership with AltCap and a couple of our council members. We've done listening sessions in our 5th district and our 4th district, and we have our 6th district coming up, and then we're going to include our other 3 districts as well. Please go in, join the listening session. But the biggest thing you can do for us is take this survey. We need to know about what you need as businesses, because what we're doing with this data is create a small business agenda. We have a few ideas. I wish you could see my little dry erase board over here. I definitely have several items that I would like to put on this small business agenda list for you. But what don't I know? Tell me what I don't know about what your needs are as a small business, and give me some data to help me fight for you as a business when it comes to our politicians, our new city manager, or our mayor, just to know what you need right now. The city is requiring you to operate with limited guidelines. What can we do, or what policies can we put in place to help people from, other businesses from being predatory of you, or what other things can we do to help service you to that create some type of ease when you operate your business? That's what I want to know with this survey. The other thing, some other tips for you that you can find out on this website. We'll have our guidelines here. Again, the new guidelines really hit the restaurant and bars to close at 10 o'clock. That does not include delivery service. So I had someone ask me that question. Yes, you can still deliver after 10 o'clock. The whole idea behind that was to stop the gathering. Because when people go eat and drink, they take their mask off and they don't put it back on, and you kind of can't see COVID. So it's not like you can see people dropping like flies right in front of you to know that it's coming towards you. So that was part of the reason why that happened. Again, there's other, updates that we'll have here. In the future, coming very soon in the new year, we'll have some tools where you can do a zoning request to my office a lot more easier, and you'll be able to create a business registration action plan. So everything I walk you through, there'll be a back end. I'll ask you some questions through there. You fill that out. It will create you an action plan. So we have that coming pretty soon. We're really excited about it. Most people ask me about the money. Where's the money? Well, it's here. Whatever we know that's available on the streets when it comes to grants, and sooner or later we may work with the banks to add some of their small business loan programs or some of our CDFIs. That will be located here. If you want to see what you missed, go look here under financial assistance. And that's where you can find most of the grants that are available right now that we are aware of. Or if I get notification to my office, I will post that there. If you want to do business with the city, that's called procurement. To be a vendor with the city, we put the steps here. If you want to be certified with the city as a minority, a woman-owned business, a small local business, here is the information where you can find for the workshops. Again, we'll be curating the site. We just want to make sure some information was here, but you will see this redone with better tools, easier access to get you the information that you need very quickly. Here's how you can do business with the city, see what the city buys. A lot of businesses don't realize that the city may buy from you, and this might be a good time to pivot in COVID-19 by doing business with the city. To find out opportunities and things of that sort, all that information is here. Other good resources for you on this site. We worked with our finance department. I now have tax guides for you based on your industry. These will lead you directly to the city website. What you can do with this, it will have a calendar for your taxes. It will have just information that you can talk over with your accountant or your attorney, just to kind of give you an idea, but know what's going on, so you know that you're not being, taken advantage of by anyone else. Know what to expect as a small business owner. I don't expect you to know every single thing, but at least know enough about what you do and what industry you're in and what things you need to know and understand to keep you in good standing, sustaining, and so that you can actually grow. Great tools here for you for tax guides. Let me see, what else do we have? Also, if you want to know about different organizations, we added the Resource Navigator powered by KC SourceLink. You do not have to leave my site. Majority, if not all, of the entrepreneurial resource organizations are on here. If you are an entrepreneurial resource organization, you are not on here, please make sure you go talk with KC SourceLink so you can get added. But if you just want to know what's out there that can support you based on what you're trying to do with your business or how you want to pivot or grow your business, great resource here for you. Something in the future to look forward to, another virtual tool will be our virtual folder. Again, when you're doing your business registration and you're obtaining your articles of organization, your EIN letter, a lot of times you lose that information. Then you call me and I can't obtain most of that stuff for you. We're going to try to set up a virtual folder for you where you can keep all that information and can easily access it. You'll also have a profile, which will kind of chart your interactions with our office, referral matches, or anything that you need or resources, or if you just have questions. We'll have faster and better tools and more efficient tools to operate and work with our small businesses. So be looking out for the virtual folder. Again, this is just a great tool for your small business. Mark it, bookmark this, make sure you keep it for future. Again, I can't stress it enough. Please, please, please fill out the survey for our Small Business Big Voice Listening Tour. Give me the ammo that I need to help fight for our small businesses from the city level, and I can take that to the state or any other jurisdiction. Just help me help you. That's my job. This is what I do at KC BizCare. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at 816-513-2491, or you can email us at kcbizcare.kcmo.org. At kcmo.org, our information is here. Email me anytime if you have any questions. This is also another line that you can call, but both lines, 91 and 92, will get you to our office. So if you need anything, please contact us. And I think that's it for me. Unless there's any questions, I'll leave it there for Brandon to jump back in and tell me what I need to do next.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Walking through all of those critical technical points that a lot of people don't always, stop and pause and think about. A lot of times, especially when we good at what we do, we just want to do it.
You just do it. Yeah.
So,
but then when you need some money, then it's like, shoot, I got to get all this set up. Yeah. You can't access anything without it. Let
Nope.
me access that.
Yeah, so it's super crucial to put the brakes on at the beginning and just take a few steps to get that going. I mean, I've set up a couple of businesses myself, and the LLC filing, the articles of organization, the even the operating agreement, and the EIN. Like it's super easy, super simple, super quick,
Yeah.
and even more so. Like I googled it myself and found out how to do it, and I didn't even go like before I knew about KC BizCare's website, and
Yeah.
so like that would have even what I did was already quick, but that was even
It would
more
have been even quicker. It would
yeah.
have been quicker. It takes a lot of our entrepreneurs months to figure these things out. And before COVID-19, even in COVID-19, in most cases, I can help you do this in an hour or less, and I can save you a lot of money. Again, a lot of people will utilize these other tools, which are still great, to get a lot of this documentation done. Especially if you just don't feel comfortable doing it, please go right ahead. I don't want to undercut them, but if you are just trying to do it yourself and save you some money, I mean, the basic step, if you have a professional service business, you just spent less than $100 just to get your business registered. If you go further on and you're selling things, then there's different permits that may be required. But typically, Kansas City is one of the cheapest places to really start a business when I've looked at what other cities were doing. It can cost people hundreds of dollars. So while you have the opportunity, start here, start in your hometown, grow local, and let me help you do so.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Shout out to you
I appreciate
for
it.
doing that, and for one of the things that I can genuinely say about you specifically is that a lot of times, people don't trust the government, right? People don't trust the city, but
Yeah,
you are a consistent and committed advocate of the people of the city, and really trying to really trying to gather as much information as you can,
I'm still new.
and
Yeah.
genuinely help people. And so we
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
genuinely want to help you, but I'm so new to the city still. I haven't been tainted that way. So you
yeah,
can trust me, and hopefully you can keep trusting me. But I'm still new here, and I'm just trying to, get my bearings and figure out what we can do. And being recruited to the city, was a great opportunity. So hopefully I'm doing what they were expecting me to do, and hopefully as small business owners, I'm getting you exactly what you're trying to
yeah,
get.
yeah. Yeah, you are appreciated. You definitely appreciate it. So, I want so now like that's really it. That's all we got, right? And so I want to bring back everybody else, and just right, yeah, right. Mic drop. I just want to thank everybody. Like this,
Right.
what I said to Dan earlier was true. Like, and it just kept building, right? It just kept building with Dwan and with Nia, like uh, knowing all this information that you guys packaged into a little bit over an hour, took me years to learn, and it was very helpful for me when setting up some of the businesses that I've said, and helpful for me when I when we started Gift, and so just knowing 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, if I could have sat here and watched this, it just would have, I don't know, it would have made my life easier. So I'm hoping that it has done that for at least one other person, for at least one other person. But if we got any questions, definitely love to take questions generally for anybody. And then I just want to throw it to y'all and see if there's anything else y'all want to say, anything else y'all want to talk about.
Before and while people are generating questions, since we're talking collectively about Black business, just want to let people know out there that someone who's kind of been in this fight for a long time. The one thing that I see that's going to help us as Black people is closing the wealth gap, and the one way that we do that is through entrepreneurship. And so there's a couple of studies that I'm reading that I want to share with you guys to look at as well. The Association for Enterprise and Opportunity has a report called The Tapestry of Black Business Ownership in America. It's a great one. I know a couple of times it came up in discussion about, what industries to jump into. This one, I'm reading, I'm only halfway through it, but it gives a great breakdown of where we excel as Black owned businesses and where we don't. So if you give me a second, can I read a little excerpt from it real quick with some
Yeah.
good information? So it looked at Black owned business employers. So the 3.56 million jobs that Black businesses supply equate to about a fifth of employed Black workforce. When they looked at sectors where Black businesses were concentrated but had limited revenue growth, They found that it's important. An important goal for Black business owners is to select industry sectors that hold the highest potential of revenue generation, sustainability, and growth, and the ability to hire. How do we close the racial wealth gap? We go do it through entrepreneurship. We create jobs, which gives people income, and they can do other things like buy a home, which also helps to close the racial wealth gap. Invest, which also helps to close the racial wealth gap. So some of the areas that they talked about said Black firms are less represented in areas where white firms earn high revenue. Office of physicians, mental health. We know a lot of Black therapists in Kansas City that's popping up now. Plumbing, heating, AC contractors, office of lawyers. We got a whole organization, Jackson County Bar Association. That's pretty much all your Black lawyers and judges in Kansas City. What if we help concentrated them back into the community? Full service restaurants. They also earn much less revenue than these sectors, but Black firms are much more concentrated in industries where revenue is low and sometimes much lower than white firms earn. These industries are beauty salons, childcare services, home health care services, janitorial services, and barbershops. Further, as with professional skills, the restaurant categories, Black firms take a lower revenue than white firms in these sectors as well. So just an excerpt from that, great one. And then the other one I'm reading is this one, Building Supportive Ecosystems for Black-owned U.S. Businesses. So I wanted to share that with my colleagues, with you guys. It's something I'm researching, and maybe you guys want to research as well. I haven't started this one, but I'm hoping it will give me some great insight. So just know that when I'm doing my work, I'm definitely taking a look at how do I help the different sectors, particularly with the Black-owned businesses that are suffering the most, because we are the only race on track to having zero to negative wealth. And I believe it was, I think the statistic, don't quote me, was 2082. It might have been 2082 or 2052. But with COVID, I'm sure that's pushed up a little bit more. We might see that in our own time of being alive, where we will have zero to negative wealth in our community. So it is very, very important. We're the only ones. Very, very important that we do this, and we do this well. So if you're going to start a business, have a side hustle, whatever it is that you're going to do it, make sure you do it with purpose, and you do it on purpose to help not only yourself, but to help your community and help close this racial wealth gap and raise us up all together. So that was just my 2 cents that I wanted to make sure I shared with everybody while we were on the call.
Yeah, that's what's up. Man. So that statistic is that so prior to COVID, we were on track to have a negative wealth by 2052.
It was either 2052 or 2082, but there was a study that came out, and I'll go find it and share that with you, that talked about the racial wealth gap.
Yeah,
that's the statistic that they came up with.
Yeah, and that, so I had heard that myself as well, that it was in the 2052, and that with COVID it has been accelerated.
Yes.
So yeah. Throw it to anybody else. Anybody else got any closing comments? Any other pearls?
Yeah. So there was a question. Legacy said, "What's the new model of marketing in 2021 since we have COVID?" And I don't have that answer, but I follow a couple folks that I know we talked about it earlier, which the YouTube resource, but Seth Gooten is a phenomenal resource when it comes to marketing and advertising. And I think he's not really tapped. I know a lot of people hear about the Gary V's and folks like that, but Seth Gooden is like so dope. And he has so much content and so much relevant content as it relates to marketing. I would look him up to see what he's talking about for the 2021 model. I would say stay forward in all the trends that are out there, even if it doesn't pan out and it's not something that ends up blowing up, you still want to be on the front end of that. Because if you're not and it does, then you're going to be behind the 8 ball. And I say that to say there's an app out now called Clubhouse. It's an invite only at this point. But if you find somebody that is on it, try to get access to that app. That is something that is growing in popularity, and it's an emerging app. Social media app, but I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'd love anytime we get this opportunity to learn. I'm all in. I love it, and so Nia and Dewan, have. I mean, dude, I'm just glad to be able to. I got notes. I'm writing notes down over here too. So just just saying. So
Yeah. And so I actually, Dan, I want to hop in on that too, and like I've been not throwing out stuff because the education space is like that's not my lane, but I do want to say that influencer marketing, like the question about what's the new ways to market. Uh, Influencer marketing has been a big thing for Gift. It's just identifying those people that have a, a trusted following, a trusted audience base, and getting reaching out to them, and when they are authentically getting behind your product, your service, your work, and helping to amplify that. I mean that's a it's a free way to grow your reach, grow your audience. And so you just got to reach out, find those people that are connecting with what you're doing, and kind of going back to one of those other things that was mentioned before. Just reach out. I mean, honestly, with Gift, uh, in our first month, there was so many people, so many news outlets, so many influencers. I just hit them up on Instagram and said, "Hey, what's up? I know you don't know me, but this is who I am. This is what we doing. What's up? Can we talk? Like, can you share our stuff? Can I tell you more about it?" And surprisingly, they just said yes. Like they what we was doing resonated with them, and they was on board. So don't discount influencer marketing. Think about that when you're trying to do whatever it is you're trying to do. Think about who you can tap into that can tap into their audience, that gives you a little bit of legitimacy almost right off the bat.
Yeah, I would concur and say that the new pivot when it comes to marketing and networking is through the phones, online, through your social media. You're going to have to be more visual now. It's not going to be about one-on-one meeting a person. Show me a PowerPoint. Show me a dope reel or something about what you're doing. You're going to have to learn how to be creative with these social media tools and technology that's in front of you, and that's available right here in your phone. Leverage those tools because we can't meet face to face now. A lot of the conferences have pivoted online. And so, like for example, Blavity, when they do Afro Tech, they had Afro Roll, and we got a chance to, and me and Kira got a chance to see the back end of it and do a virtual tour of it, and it was almost like being there in person. But they're coming up with creative new ways for us to be somewhere and network, but not physically be there. And so that saves us time, saves us money, but also allows us to operate in COVID-19 with these big restrictions. Who knows what will change with the vaccine, or how long it would take for those things to change. Hopefully, everybody doesn't turn into zombies. But basically, you're going to have to pivot to utilizing these tools to look good virtually. Give me a dope logo. Give me some dope concepts. Give me a dope, layout of here's what we do. Here's how the services we can provide for you, or here's the help that I need. Those are things that are going to be very helpful for you moving forward. And a lot of times when you're trying to fundraise, if you're doing things like Kiva or loyalty bonds where you have to use social media platforms to raise money, that becomes important. So make sure you're leveraging your social media for your business just as much as you leverage your website. And a lot of times, yes, people have to pivot towards these websites. We have to do a lot of that now in COVID-19. And I think that's what a lot of support that our businesses need right now, especially with back office, so that they can pivot in this time and still operate or find a new way to operate. But I absolutely agree. That's, use the influencers, go online, but use different tools. There's so many out there right now that can help you as a
Can I and I want to piggyback a little bit. See, piggybacking is a really good thing to do sometimes when you have these conversations. So to piggyback off of what Nia was just saying, the new norm is not is like you said, open visibility, right? Being able to be trusted and trusted and also know what you're doing is a huge thing. So I was thinking about those individual, like when we talked about the trades and things like that. Like imagine being a handyman and actually capturing footage of you working, or being a landscaper and not just taking a picture, of an after product, but the actual showing of these are some of the things in a hyperlapse setting or a hyperlapse situation. I don't see people doing that on the internet right now. I don't see handyman taking you with them. I don't see electricians or plumbers taking you with them. And it might seem to us, it might seem like, or to even you, the person that's doing the trade like that. Nobody wants to see me doing this. Nobody. But it brings people into your world, and that right now is sexy, right? To be able to show people exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it on a daily basis is sexy. It's opening the doors. And a lot of people talk about, well, I don't want people to know what I'm doing because I don't want them to emulate, what I'm doing, and I want to hide this and hide that. But they're not you, right? So like we got to get away from the perspective of, if I got to keep it, hold it tight to my chest, because if I don't, somebody might steal my idea. But they're not you. If you're not putting your idea to work, then that's your problem, right? But if you're putting your idea to work and other people are watching that process, allow them to watch it. If they feel like they want to emulate it and try it, that's cool. But they're not you. So you just have to keep forward in what you do and just be open and be ready to push. So let us into your world, plumbers, electricians. show us what it's about. Give us some visibility.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's all I got.
And the only thing that I'll say, again, for all the entrepreneurs, everyone who wants to become an entrepreneur, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There's not going to be a perfect moment. So just get started where you are. Nia, again, provided some great resources. So there's a lot of help. You've got allies on your team. So just go ahead and get started.
I like to play with text, so I just put my message up there. It's all good.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all we got. So I want to again thank Kira, thank Dan, Dwan, Mia, and then shout out to Cornell Gorman, one of the co-founders of G.I.F.T. He behind the scenes, making this happen, making it look good, making us look smooth with all the transitions like we know we're doing. So shout out to Cornell, and again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out afterwards, especially when you're with the people rewatching. You can email me bcalloway@kansascitygift.org. I'm always happy to answer any questions. I know what I don't know, and so if you ask me something and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna get you to somebody that do. Right, I'm gonna probably throw you to Nia or Dan or Dwan or Kira. But if I can help you, I absolutely will. Yeah,
I got it.
yeah. Cool. So that's it. That's all we got.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Good morning. See you guys.